engagement. And guys, we're really coming down to the end of our engagement. You know, one of the things that usually happens for me is that when we have people come together, I hate to see you go. You know, when people fly and we have this amazing, you know, explosion of ideas, and then people are like ready to go. I'm like, oh my goodness, I love being in this global conversations every day. So that's why you see me every day, because I thrive with this global conversation, and I don't just want to have it once. So hopefully we can grow the community and be engaging as much as we can and sharing content. One video that I do want to share is that I'm hoping that next year we can come back again in person, because usually I run primarily in driving network, because I know everybody on the call, everybody on this webinar has a story to share. And I would just want to share briefly a video of like an highlight video from our reception from last year, because we usually have like a welcome reception where we you know, encourage everybody to talk about their story, to share whatever it is they're working on. And for me, the challenge was, how do you replicate that type of dynamic conversation? So for me, I'll show you the video, then I'll come back to talk about next steps, the framework that we've built, and how we hope that you can be a part of this journey. Let me go ahead and cue that video.
Thank you very much, Helen. I think we have got different titles, but we are one of the same. She's a marketer, I'm a politician. We have one objective to win the hearts and minds of the people. And when we do that, we do not take you to help. We ensure that you benefit from the process. And certainly we are creating the African community of the good area to ensure that ordinary Africans
So my dears, that's what it looked like when we could all meet in person. But I want to encourage you all that this is about building strong network. So my attempt was also to make sure that you all connect with one another. So, you know, it's quite challenging to get that done via just this webinar. So please do hopefully use the platform to engage, to ignite conversations. And part of what we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks is what I would love to share in terms of next steps. So as next steps, what we've done this year is to create the Trade with Africa framework, which is a framework that allows engagement around what we call pillars of trade. Just like we heard from Scott Ford, as an investor seeks to invest in Africa, they do want to see enabling policy that is consistent. They want to see the types of governmental protection that investors would get as they invest on the continent. So that's one thing we try to represent. I try to put in as, you know, coverage roofs over their investment. And people, I know we need to start grouping ourselves in community. So our digital platform in the next couple of weeks, we'll be creating subgroups along the lines of agriculture value chain, manufacturing, retail and distribution, infrastructure development. We would also build subgroups around healthcare, human capacity development, and enabling tech, and also import and export. These are the key areas we want to target with the work that we'll be doing at Nazaru, because over the years that we've engaged with the various stakeholders, we now want us all to narrow down and start focusing on specifics. So just like we showcase like Masabata, it's agricultural value chain, what has to happen there? What type of engagement has to happen? What type of roles needs to be in place? What are the questions people are having? What are the resources that are available as new people would also be joining this movement? You know, one of the things I also feel from this particular engagement, one of my takeaways is the fact that for me, we are growing, you know, organically, and we're growing systematically. And I know some people are joining us at year 3, some will join us at year 5, some, you know, as we grow. But one thing I also want to encourage those that are just joining is to understand that there's some foundational content that we've shared in the past, 2018, 2019, that what you've just experienced the last 2 days builds on top of those conversations. So for example, Exim Bank, if you know, the US Exporting Bond Bank, what I would encourage is to seek out to consume the content from last year, where they spent an entire hour or more discussing tools and financing resources that can actually, if you're in the US, you can actually use to target engagement and trade with Africa. So those are the types of content I would encourage those that are just joining us to consider, you know, those resources as things that can help them jumpstart as well. The other thing that I just want to share as from a good news standpoint for me is the fact that we also, during COVID-19, launched a beauty brand that also connects Africa to the global supply chain. Our products use shea butter coming out of Africa. And this is a brand that Nazaru as a company owns. And in the next couple of months, you'll be seeing us more. We just started, but we have great plans. And for me, pretty much the message I'm trying to pass across is, we know what we need to do. We have the right resources. We have the right network. We have the right engagement, whether like you saw John with governments to government engagement, or business communities or retail. This is the area we want to focus. And as a company, part of what we see a need of doing is market entry strategy. Like I said yesterday, just because you want to do trade doesn't mean it happens. There's a process to it. It has to be systematic, right? And those are some of the things we are now supporting people to do. Yes, we do host events, but the events, for us, it's a strategy to ignite a new type of conversation that would eventually lead to deal. And we've gotten a lot of feedback, and part of what we also need to do a better job of is showcasing results that has emerged from this engagement with businesses that have been started because of content, from contents really, and resources they've been able to access from this platform. One of the things, for those who follow me, one of the things I've been harping on heavily the last couple of weeks is it's about trade facilitation acumen, expanding on that, because part of all of this is realizing that where we want to go and the solutions that we want to provide, just like Master Bata said, we need to understand collaboration. We need to be open to it. We need to start seeing, like he said, we need to believe that the vision that we have is bigger than an individual. So I want to encourage you from a trade facilitation standpoint. Those are some training and workshops and masterminds and master classes that in the couple months you'll be seeing us. I know some people already on this call have signed up for that. For me, I see what I've committed myself to do is that I want to help as many people to win, to succeed, and we want to be of service. We want to really be an enabler in activating trade with Africa. So we do offer consulting. I found myself training. To be honest, that's me actually stepping out of my comfort zone. I never knew that it would take this. But what I realized is it's not enough for me to challenge people to trade with Africa. I actually have to humble myself enough to say, Toyin, are you willing to also teach? Are you also willing to share knowledge? So I think my challenge is for as many people listening, I want to challenge you as well to be willing to teach, to be willing to share, to be willing to help build the Africa that we so much desperately in our minds we see. But in order for us to build that union, we have to let go a little bit of ourselves. It doesn't mean you don't do what you need to do. So for example, we are building our brand, but what I'm saying is that the knowledge that it took us to do this, it's knowledge that we're finding so many people across the continent desire to acquire, and we're making ourselves available to help with that. With that, it's been an amazing honor. There's more networking that needs to happen on the platform. One thing I also would love to see, we've created an exit survey. I want to hear from you to see how we can improve on this engagement. So any feedback you have, I'm open to it. Any comments, anything, you know, it would be great. For me, it's been an honor. You know, just trying to recreate an amazing experience virtually. It took a lot. And I also want to say a good thank you to Dr. Nii from Nigeria, who kind of educated me on Zoom because he does a lot of global events on Zoom, and I've taken hours of training from him. So I want to shout out that I didn't do this all by myself. Even while the event was going on, he was sending me screenshots and saying, click here, if you want to do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, people cannot really tell now how God sent an angel to just see me through this engagement. But okay, thank you to everyone that said yes, our special speakers for waiting. I know time zone, your flexibility, you know, everybody's super busy, but everybody said yes, the passion, the joy. And that's the reward for me, is to see the joy, the impact, and we want to see results. And please do share whatever network comes up for you, how it's a game changer for your business. If you can share the success story, we've had a lot. I would absolutely, that's what I would want, is just to see your story, to hear your story, and to rejoice with you. So I think there's some comments coming on. Okay, thank you so much. Let me stop sharing and see if there are any comments that anybody wants to have. There's actually a feature on Zoom that we've not used. It's a feature that allows you to raise your hand. I don't know. You basically raise your hand I'll see who is raising their hand, and I believe I'll be able to give them access to actually speak. If we can do that, oh, I see 3 hands went up. I'll be able to, so that at least we can do voice before we go to the platform. And Tamika, I thank you for your comment. You said great virtual summit. Thank you. Dr. Samuel said, Toyin, God bless you. Yes, for putting out. Thank you, sir. You said yes. You are part of making this a success, sir. You didn't have to say yes. With your profile, with your level of engagement in Ghana, you didn't have to say yes, but I honor you and I really, truly appreciate you. And for me, I want to see this to the next level and see projects and initiatives that we can actually land in Ghana. That's what I want to see. Thank you, George Joseph Wood, for honoring us and being here again. Much work for us with work. Okay, one thing though that just came to my mind, there's one more video from Bentonville, Arkansas, because they've been a great support. I just want to quickly play that. It's a short video. Let me see if I have it queued up. Do more. Okay, I got it now. It's going to be a quick 30-second video, quite fast, just to acknowledge the support we've received from the city of Bentonville.
Sometimes it's the simple things, enjoying family and friends, community. Sometimes you just need to ride and hike, reconnect, experiencing the wonders of art and imagination. Celebrate. Bentonville, Arkansas is here for you today. Bentonville, Arkansas will be here for you tomorrow. Do more here.
The city of Bentonville was actually a sponsor of my first ever event. So I owe a lot to them. In fact, when this was just an idea, they actually assigned a resource to guide me. I had a resource full-time to this work, and they've also invited us back. So maybe in the future, we might invite you all to visit Bentonville again. But it's amazing to see how people believe in concepts, right? It's different if you're already making success, you're already successful, and then people want to be a part of your success. But what I saw with Bentonville and many individuals like John is that all I did was paint a picture of the future of what I wanted to do. And they said, Toyin, we want to help you build that future. That was what Bentonville did for me. And I remember they taking me to hotels and saying, okay, do you have a website? At that time, I didn't have a website. Okay, what's your menu like? You know, so for me, again, thank you to them. And I hope George Joseph Wood, please help me carry that message back to the city of Bentonville for how they honored us and how they've kept supporting this movement. It's just a testament to creative leaders that can see a vision and help make it happen. So I see hands raised. Let me, Hendrik Mason, I just activated you to speak, but you also have to, it says you still have to, on your side, unmute. And Hendrik Mason, please. You have access to speak, but the system wants you on your side to unmute. Okay.
Yeah, I got to unmute. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you very much for this opportunity. This is really great. I got the chance to really learn a lot and listen to a lot of people. I'm actually from, I'm born in Nigeria to Ghanaian parents, but I lived in Nigeria and also lived in Ghana. I've been in the States for over 20 years. I live in Texas. Proud Texan, you could say. I love Texas a lot. I know Arkansas very much, but this has been I've just gotten into this space about the last year or so. So I'm actually excited about this space to bring diasporans to Africa, to invest in Africa. So I'm really excited to learn about trade. I worked with the Congressional Black Caucus for a little bit to understand what John was saying. So I got to understand. I helped them out with a little bit of stuff like that. So I got to understand what he was saying when it comes to the politics of trade. The U.S. is not invested in Africa. I wrote a MS paper on the U.S. and Africa trade. And I was able to present it to the US Corps of Engineers and a couple of people in DC last year when I did a fellowship. And I realized that we really are missing in Africa. So yeah, I'm hoping what John said, that the current administration, hopefully a new administration that might come in, we might have a little bit opportunity to increase that trade in Africa, because it's very, very important. But not only, not trade by trade sense, but also hopefully the diaspora. I was present at the year of the return in Ghana, and I was there to see so many diasporans, so many African Americans excited to invest in Africa. So I think we also need to tap into the African American wealth. They really are excited about Africa. They just don't know how to invest and how to get there, who to talk to. So I think that creating that shape is that space is very important. So I'll just end here. I don't want to say too much, but I think this is the least I could say. But thank you so very, very much for this opportunity.
Oh, no, thank you. One thing I say is, especially when we had the first one, I said for every person represented in the room, there are 500 more people out there that should have been there, that could have been there, that needed to hear everything. So I also want to encourage everybody to pay this forward, share the information, let somebody know. So next year, because for me, I feel like I'm screaming on social media, trade in Africa, trade in Africa. And I'm like, who is listening? Who is listening? I'm very loud like that. But I've also gotten some interesting feedback, even just like yesterday, someone just saying, towing, you won't believe, people are actually sending me here in the US information about your work, and they did not know I already knew you, that you do have people in Africa paying attention. So that's what I would encourage people. If you're asking me, Tony, what can we do? How can we connect? I would say bring people along, because the people that are part of this movement, imagine if you mature on the journey 5-10 years from now, how advanced would we all get to be? What type of level of impact could we be having? And that's why we shared the story of Scott Ford, which again, he has shared his full story in a 2-hour engagement. Again, I think the video, I need to start making it more available for those people who want to hear that story. But Scott Ford that we shared, and maybe when we wrap up, I'll play that video because people have asked to see that video again. Scott Ford it's taken him 15 years to become the world's largest, roasting coffee company, but it all started in Rwanda. So if we can keep doing what we're doing today, and we don't relent, and we don't back down, and we support one another, because I don't want it to be a lonely journey for you, because it can be entrepreneurship, not even trade with Africa. Pure entrepreneurship is a lot of hard work. But what we're trying to do is create a community that supports one another, that encourages one another, that inspires one another, that we can learn together, grow together. And 5, 10, 15 years from now, we can be laughing to the bank. Okay, that's doing that. I'm just trying to be funny. But this is about commercial, this is about wealth creation. This is about generational wealth. So hopefully everybody already understands that, but it's about also making sure we don't get tired, that we're linking hand to hand with other people that care about the same thing we care about, and being able to share as well as learn. So I see.
Can I say one thing before I leave? Please. I want to thank you very much for talking about mentorship with the younger generation. I think they are very important. Second generation Africans, I think their success, they are really huge. And I think it's high time we try to tap them in. They are so important. They are just disengaged. They don't believe that it's opportunities down there. But a lot of them are going back home, especially in Nigeria. So many people have gone back home to do so much especially with the fintech technology area, digitization coming from this young group. So I think it's important when you talk about mentorships. I want to congratulate you and say thank you very much for that part.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think they also don't have the mental block, or how do I say this, the mental constraints that we have applied on ourselves. What I mean by that, a lot of diaspora, first gen, that are in corporate America, the corporate America job, which I'm telling the story, from my own story as well, I fit perfectly into that scenario, where we came in pursuing the American dream, we got it, and then we're holding on to it so tightly that it's like there's nothing else better for us. This American dream is what we're going to hold on to. But the next generation, growing up in the midst of COVID-19, They're telling us there's no guarantee anyway with that corporate America job that you're telling us you're living to and dying for. I'm going to go. They are more risk than, you know, they take risk. They will jump on a plane in an heartbeat. Like we would still try to say, can I take permission from work? Can I take this? You know, you have those limitations. The young generation, they have zero. They have zero. They just jump on the plane. And there are so many stories I get the honor to listen to. I have all those stories. They're like, where do you want me to be? You know, there was a lady, very, very young, that actually interned with African Union, and she was like, Tony, I'm ready to intern. Does US wants me? Like, she's ready to fly the world. And I'm saying that generation is going to conquer the world. That young generation of Africans, they don't have any mental blocks, any cultural barriers. They are just going for it. They're the generations, the digital natives that grew up with Facebook and Google. So young Africans that they've been on tech, they've seen the world, they're dealing with the world on phones. They're like, what are you saying I can't go to? No, so that, I thank you for sharing that. I think we need to understand that the next generation are going to break barriers down. And we have to invest in them and enable them and empower them to go dream big and accomplish. They're going to make us proud. I already see people like Masabata. I'm like, we're cheering you on. Keep moving. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
I see Rebecca Akindele Akinyemi. You can speak now, but you need to unmute. Please go on.
I did unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. As always, a great, great presentation from Trade with Africa Business Summit. I urged my team, the Global African Business Association, to be engaged with this. And we have really enjoyed the conversations for the past 2 days. I do apologize for the technical difficulties yesterday. I was trying to listen from where I was at work, but I made it a point today to listen to everyone. And it was just, again, fantastic. And I just want to say one quick thing. It is important that we, I like what you said earlier about Trade with Africa movement. We do need a Trade with Africa movement. I have been speaking to several lawmakers here in the state of Michigan about the importance of Trade with Africa, and they are really engaged and want to take things to the next level. And I think one of the things we have to do is educate our population, educate our stakeholders about why this is important. When you're looking at local urban communities across the United States that are struggling economically, Trade with Africa is a platform and a movement and a strategy that we can utilize to link the wealth between sub-Saharan Africa and here in the U.S. So once again, you know, I always support you. You can always call me. We are behind you 100%. And I thank you so much for another great business summit.
Yes. Yesterday, I was like trying so hard to get you twice to speak. So I'm glad you spoke. So you've been really conservative. You didn't even, you know, talk about yourself. So let me toot you. Let me say something. Okay. Akindele Akiyemi is a phenomenal leader. I believe you were one of the first elected African in the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So we celebrate you, and you've been an advocate for other Africans. I see you on social promoting us to elevate other Africans and African Americans into political office. You've been campaigning for Africa. You've been handpicking and campaigning for them. Even in your local city in Michigan, you've been rallying around and bringing Africans together. I follow you. I celebrate your work with the sports you're doing in Inkster, with trying to grow agriculture and building the Africa community market in Michigan. And in fact, I've shared some of the work you're doing with the Washington Judge Joseph Wood. I basically was encouraging him to take a look at what you're doing in Michigan. With Trade with Africa and landing that in opportunity zones and trying to create jobs and the murals that you have in Michigan as well. So how did I do in trying to tell your story? I
thought that was fantastic. I mean, that was a home run. I appreciate it.
And then one other thing I have to thank you for, okay, is the group ticket. So
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, the GABA crew, the GABA fan. I tell you, oh my goodness, they are like all over Trade Africa. In fact, they recruited their members and they said, we all have to, 10 of we all have to attend Trade Africa. So one of the things I say, and thank you for your support and partnership as well, is that
Okay.
built this platform enough that is non-competitive. It's more collaborative. If you're moving in the direction we're moving, if you're advocating for the things we're advocating, then you're absolutely welcome because we know together we are more powerful. So thank you, GABA family. Thank you, Tama, Deb. I don't know all the names, but your crew showed up. They represented on social media and I see them in the group and I'm super excited to continue our partnership as well, to take it to the next level. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I see hand raised by Mr. James G. Uh, okay, so you're able to speak now, James G. But you're like I said, you still have to enable on your side and unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Toyin, right here from Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow.
And this is one of the best trade summit I have ever attended. It's very insightful. Your choice of speakers were world-class, international, and with a lot of resources. I want to support this kind of partnership and network, especially from this side of East Africa. And we want to see more investors and more partnerships coming in here. We are ready to work with them. And I like the message. We are not looking for aid. We are looking for trade. Keep it up. Good job, Dr. Toyin.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And now that I see, because you said G, now I know who the person is. I'm also looking forward to our conversation on Sunday nights, right? My time.
Yes, yes, yes. Sunday night. Yeah, that's tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yes. So it's
We'll,
on Facebook Live. Would you be on live Facebook or YouTube?
I'll be live on Facebook. That is on it's School of Wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, and also YouTube will be there on G Minor. And we're going to have some wonderful lady from Washington, D.C. She works at the White House there. And then another friend of mine who's also very influential here in Kenya. And it's going to be, but we want to give you more of the time to talk. So we're
Yeah.
going to just introduce.
Yeah, I
You
just
can
want
hear
to
me?
also encourage people to connect with you because
Yes.
with your work, the youth of Kenya follows you quite closely, and you're a leader and an international, not to say too much, but you're an international global leader as well. So I know you're trying to be conservative, but I celebrate you and your work and your various accomplishments. You're well traveled, you know the world, and that's why I believe when you saw the work that we were doing, you immediately could connect and you understood what it is that we're trying to do. A lot of people cannot visually conceptualize and understand and grasp when we say trade with Africa, but because of your natural giftings and natural abilities and because you're an international speaker, you were able to say, hey, Tony, I know what it is you're doing. I want to be a part of that. So for those people also looking to connect in Kenya, this is somebody that you just need to follow him pretty much. I wouldn't say more than that. Once you follow him, you see what I'm saying. Okay. So thank you, sir. I'm happy to bring the message to the people of Kenya, leveraging the global amazing platform that you have. I know the youth follow everything you say, and I'm looking forward to just sharing on your platform as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm so grateful. Let me just mention one thing before I exit. I was telling my wife today, one thing I see with Dr. Tuyin and Nazaru and Trade with Africa is actually most people talk a lot about what needs to be done in Africa, but now you are telling us how to do it. Everybody is saying Africa needs to do this, or this needs to happen in Africa. We're tired of that. But now you brought are kind of now the how to do it on the ground. And we are so excited. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a protege of Trade with Africa. Nazaru, count me in, and I'm going to bring all my friends into
Oh,
this thing and
and
business
your
partners.
friends are powerful people. You're being conservative. I want to be a friend of your friends too, sir.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn, and we're here to learn.
Okay. Let's learn
Yes.
together. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. I see Davisha Johnson. You raised your hand, right? Okay. You have access now. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, go on. We can.
Hi. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I just want to say on behalf of GABA as their global project specialist, that I'm just so excited that you put this group of people together. And I'm very interested in connecting with everyone that we've heard today. So Toyin, I want to say thank you. I just have one comment to say on behalf of GABA and the next generation. I'm a millennial business owner here in the United States, and all of the opportunities that you just gave myself and people like Masabata to get mentorship and just to hear the level of interest in engaging the younger generation is great. But as the previous person just said, you've given us an opportunity to learn how to do things. So I just like to offer at this time the opportunity to connect with any other young people that are listening or that have been on the call, for us to collaborate our ideas and initiatives together so that we can receive the mentorship and leadership from everyone that was on this workshop over the last 2 days. So I just want to say thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Fantastic. You gave me an idea. Maybe we need to come up with some type of community for the young ones. I know, Masabata, I was laughing when you said when you went to the radio station, the older generation wasn't listening to your radio station. I was like, oh, that was so funny. So I think that that's something I'm willing to explore, to see what can we do best to bring the young people together, but also invest in them. So thank you so much. I am proud of your work, and thank you for saying yes. That's what I always have to thank people for, because many more people heard about it, but they were like, but the people who said yes, I owe you a lot of thanks. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, we're seeing more hands go up. Dr. Femi, Oshidele, you're next. You're not a new member, you're a returning guest. Thank you. Please go on.
Yes, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. Again, thank you, Tony. Yes, I'm returning. Last year was my first, so I believe I am in the, you might call the second cohort of Trade with Africa supporters, and I'm really pleased that I had the chance to attend this. I know you referred to me as being in California. I'm actually in Texas, in the same time zone as you are.
I don't lie. You sound like a California with your research, doctor, and the types of questions you ask me. I remember last year, all the points when you were flying in. I remember that. So
yes. And
like
thank you for remembering that. And yeah, I know. If you woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to prepare for today, I did the same thing, even though we started at 8 o'clock our time. But I want to quickly do something I did last time, even though I don't have my 10-point feedback, but I only have one thing I want to say because I want to give other people a chance to speak. And this was from Dr. Andrew Nevin's presentation. He said that the diaspora is the biggest asset that the continent has, and that it's not a brain drain, should not be regarded as a brain drain, but rather as a way to help bridge the gap between US and Africa. And I think that's a very important thing to note, because there are many of us all over the world that are looking to Africa and saying, how can we be involved? And some of you, like Tony, are taking the initiative and leading and saying, this is how we've done it. We want to be able to even broaden our abilities to engage with Africa. And there are many ways to go about it. We just need to get together and help each other to identify those opportunities and learn off of each other. I want to just point out one thing in connection with the African diaspora. And I say this with a lot of respect for to our brothers and sisters in Africa. We, in some of the advanced economies, in a way, we live in the future in the sense that we have seen some of the potential mistakes that can be made when we start to look for how to develop the African continent. And that's to Dr. Nevin's point about really being the bridge. Is one of the things we bring is the ability to see potential potholes and help avoid those potholes so that Africa can actually leapfrog ahead and jump over some of those obstacles, potholes, and potential mistakes that we, in a sense, in the future have seen. So I want to sort of seize this opportunity to say, yes, there are opportunities, but we should continue to reach back to the continent and offer those types of services where we can actually say, this is not the way to go because we've seen it not work elsewhere. So if there's somebody from abroad or from some other foreign entity saying this is what you want to do, and we as Africans, we are the ones that have the best interest of our continent at heart. So we should at least say, this is not the way to go. This is kind of a situation to avoid. And I think we do that because not only do we live here, we have families, we have friends, we have brothers and sisters who live on the continent. So we speak with that best interest of Africa at heart. And I think we should continue to reach out, to continue to reach to each other and help raise each other, because they say a rising tide lifts all boats. So the more connected we are, the more we have that ability to actually raise the tide that lifts up all boats and all business and trade opportunities and ventures for Africans. I'll stop there and give other people a chance to speak. But again, thanks for this event. It's been wonderful, even though it's been virtual. It's been very wonderful, and I've learned a lot. I think we're looking forward to bigger things next year and beyond. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And I also have to say thank you for offering yourself to also support the framework, the Trade with Africa framework that we're developing. So that's something in the next couple of weeks, we'll be figuring out what that needs to look like. So thank you for offering your support as
Wonderful.
well.
I'll be happy to help.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes. So I see Sam Lambado. I don't know if I said your last name well. Please, you have access now, but you have to unmute yourself on your side.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Hey, so I work at a company called the Adrian Opal Group, and usually what we do in times of non-pandemic is travel around to lots of these conferences. But unfortunately, since there's a lot of travel restrictions, we've been having to attend online conferences. And I just kind of wanted to chime in at the end here and say this one is by far the best. We have several other members of our team here with me, but we've been to 30 or 40 of these in the past 2 weeks. And nobody's really had as good of a speaking lineup or infrastructure in terms of the webinar to set up a conference like this. And then the networking both before and after the event was amazing. I've already been able to contact several of the speakers and reach out to them through their personal emails, as well as just talking to many of the other attendees. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to say thanks for making this such a good event. And I appreciate what you guys are trying to do in this space.
Oh, wow, wow. You know, I come from retail, and one thing we used to say is customer obsession is just trying to step into our customer's shoes and saying, how do we delight the customer? How do we, if I was the customer, what would I want to experience? How would I want to feel? What type of energy do we want to create? So in a way, I've tried to apply my retail side to say, really, this event is not about toying. You know, we like myself and John just talked about, my conversation with John is always rich, always dynamic, always intense. So we have that conversation anyway, but my attempt was to bring those people in together and give other people an opportunity to in a way, be a fly on the wall and gain insights to what's actually happening all around the world and see how they can take the knowledge and apply it to grow their own business. So Sam, that feedback warms my heart because it says I've done my job. My job was to delight. That was what I pretty much was focused on, to say, how do I make this experience? Like, if it's in person, it's the same experience, but virtually, how do you still create magic? So that's what I've tried to do. And thank you for putting words and giving me that feedback that in a way, we were successful in a way of accomplishing that. So I have to say thank you for that feedback. You know, I would also want to see more in the survey that we've shared on the group. I'll share it more, but even in written form, I really want to see what could we do better as well, because in the coming weeks, in the coming months, we will actually be having to use this technology to do more engagement. We already have one in the pipeline for October, working with the African Export Bank. So there's going to be more of this now that this is the, you know, we are all adopting to the new way. But for me is, how can we still make it the best and still create this experience that is dynamic? So thank you again for that confirmation. I appreciate it.
Yes, so, you know, just to reiterate, it was a really great conference. On the rest of the day, our company, the Adrian Opal Group, we host podcasts, online conferences. So let's try to make the most out of this Trade with Africa conference and keep networking throughout the rest of the day. And once again, thanks so much for a great conference.
Thank you, sir. I have Katlego Mamabolo. I apologize ahead for, I don't think I said your name well, but you have ability now. Just unmute yourself and, you know, please go on.
Greetings. Am I audible?
Ah, good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just here to speak on behalf of the youth. Like I just realized when I arrived here, like we're dealing with older people. By the way, I'm 25, so when I got here, I see people my dad's age. So it is quite interesting, basically. And I just want to say thank you for this great opportunity from the youth side, because there's not a lot of conferences, as people have mentioned, whereby they address the how part as to how to attain certain things. And this one has really been beneficial for me. I've been part of it for the past 2 days, and I've really grown a lot. And as it was mentioned, we would love that you definitely look into something for the youth to raise more awareness, because it actually brings most of us closer, and also brings understanding of that there's so much more opportunities, not just in our local areas, but even abroad. So a lot of us, if we do not be exposed to such platforms, we are now restricted, or we start thinking that we have to do it just here. But this platform has shown us that actually there is more to the game than just limiting ourselves to our local areas. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And yeah, thank you quite a lot.
I thank you. And I see you have grace, you're a future leader. So let's just stay together. I believe so much in the youth. I think I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have the type of belief that was instilled into me as a teenager, particularly by my late father. He basically took me everywhere, including he was a leader in his community. He was a leader professionally. And when you know how Africa is with the female child, right? But this man brought me into the rooms where you have older men that are ruling the cities, ruling the town, managing the finances. And I'll be this young 16, 17, 18-year-old female in Africa in the room. And they started calling me daddy's wife. So I know the power of creating access. And in fact, just thinking about that's maybe now I'm sharing my life story, but that experience gave me permission, because the youth sometimes, all they need is permission to speak, permission to voice they have thoughts, they have vision. But a lot of times when it comes to forum where everybody's like you said, your daddy's age or your mommy's age, whatever, right? You're like, can I talk? They know everything, right? But I tell you, as a 16, 17, 18-year-old female in Africa, my father gave me permission to be in the room with leaders. And maybe that's even, I know James G from Kenya, you had messaged me privately on Facebook and he said, Tony, I don't know how you do this. The reality is, I think that spirit and that opportunity that my late father created, it gave me permission to speak, to say, if I see a solution and I feel I can offer that solution, nobody should be stopping me from offering that solution. If I see my world through a lens and I want to shift it to see it differently, the only permission that we need is truly the permission our Creator has given us. You don't need anybody's permission to solve problems, to create a business, to bring resources together, to show up to the world. You don't need, Africans do not need anybody's permission. So in a way, what you just said just struck a chord with me, and it's making me tell a story. But anyway, the other experience I had growing up as a young female in Africa, and I've published the story in a book before, is learning how to drive in Africa. Crazy driving, right? And you know how people get hedged on the roads. But I'll have my dad sit next to me while I'm learning how to drive. On a particular day, as I was driving, somebody tried to cut me off the road. Maybe a taxi driver or somebody, how they just, push, go off. And my dad would not let it. He screamed at me and said, block him, block him, block him. You have right of way. And I did what my dad said. I was able to maneuver the car. I didn't let that guy block me. And then what he said after was like, you could have, don't let anybody get you into the ditch. If he rattled you and forced you to shift your steering, if you were afraid, you could have moved. He could have scared you and you could have gone off the road. You always need to know how to stay in your lane. And if you have the right of way, stay in your lane and don't let anybody rattle you. So if I'm offering any advice to the youth on the call, that's what I would say is go for it. Whatever aspirations you have, don't listen to the naysayers. You don't need anybody's permission. If there's a way we can support, let us know. We'll publish it, we'll put it out there. But it's high time we all just put our force. There's a lot of energy that we all have, but we want to channel that energy productively. So, Katligo, you did just strike a chord that made me tell stories I didn't know I was going to tell, but hopefully it encourages you to just go be your best in the world.
Yeah, and if there is youth inside here, let us engage. Please do let us know so that maybe we can pull something together. Because I'm quite aware that most of the people here, even the young people that are here, they're quite active in their fields. And they really are pioneers, just that they're quiet. So please do avail yourselves. Let us engage and you'll see something great may come out of it.
Okay, I thank you so much. I see some questions that just came in. Brian Butler was asking, how do we access the survey? Actually, this morning, I dropped it on the community platform, but I'll probably share it again. I'll keep sharing it. And then Davisha Johnson just says, how do we get the contact information for the speakers? I think all our speakers are on the platform, if I remember, because I personally, walked a lot of our speakers through. So if there's a speaker that catches your attention, just search their name on the platform, see their profile, and you can actually send them a direct message on the platform. You can introduce yourself, you can send them your bio, you can engage with them. And I've also encouraged our speakers to please, respond as best as they can on the platform. So definitely we want to encourage engagement. I know I got some feedback also yesterday from Dr. Nee saying, after his speech, people were reaching out and saying, we heard you speak on Trade with Africa, we heard you speak. So for me, the speakers that we've brought here is not just for them to share. We are also elevating and making them visible to the community to say, these are experts that you can go to for healthcare solutions, for research and development, whether in United Nations, with PwC. These are connectors, these are gatekeepers. With Morocco, we've also gotten a lot of amazing feedback with the presentation in Morocco, with people saying, I never knew. So these are gatekeepers, and please, one thing I have done is to encourage them to engage on the platform. So what I would also say is reach out to them and engage with them as well. They're also on LinkedIn as well. What else? So we'll see. The other thing is, in the coming weeks, like I said, there are conversations happening, like with we'll be talking, we'll be doing some live sessions as well, because he has a very powerful message in terms of entrepreneurship. With Komi, in the coming weeks, we'll be doing more engagement. So I know with Judge Joseph Wood, we are also exploring. So for me, you know, there are things I'm taking away and saying, how do we also create organic groups? Now you've also given me that feedback in terms of youth. What do we really do that supports the energy of the youth? I don't have the answers, but I want to hear your ideas. And the platform we've built, really, we've built a strong network that right now, anything you want to accomplish, you pretty much, you can connect the dots. Somebody on here can help you make it happen faster. That was the whole idea of building this ecosystem, is realizing that you're going to need a lot of contacts to do what we want to do. You're going to need, you know, and just a practical example was just yesterday, even in my own family, of my family just reaching out and saying, hey, we're trying to do this. Who do you know? I was like, oh, wait a minute, let me link you up. And immediately we were on video chat with the person, and the person gave them everything they needed to do. And they were like, oh, that just saved us. You know, that just saved us a lot. So one thing I try to tell people, the power of networking, is check your phone. If those contacts you have, they're not moving in the right direction that you're trying to get to, then please work harder to just, you know, keep growing your network. Your network, as they say, is your net worth. So that's something that I would say we will keep supporting, and we encourage other people to be a part of it. I think I covered all, I think I tried to cover everything. I see more comments. Thank you, Toyin, for putting thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Afro Swag. I appreciate that. Afro Swag is also part of the GABA network. Good job. So yes, on that note, again, thank you. It's been an honor. We do have content on YouTube, right? YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. We're everywhere, you know, and we know we also have newsletters that we send out. So, and you'll be seeing us also on the community. So again, it's been an honor. As I'm signing out now, I want to exit once again with Scott Ford's message, which is a testament of what is possible. He started 15 years ago in Rwanda, and he has grown big. And this is what, and it's a great way to end today's engagement, this year's engagement. But again, the conversation continues online. So here am I going to be sharing our key sponsor, Westrock Coffee. I also want to use that opportunity as well to mention Africa Export-Import Bank as one of our sponsors. They were a sponsor last year. Also this year, they showed up, and we have some amazing things also planned in the future to mobilize people to visit Rwanda for IATF 2021, which we shared yesterday. But I want to exit with Westrock Coffee story. It's been an honor again, and thank you, and see you on the platform.
Hello, my name is Scott Ford. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Westrock Coffee Company. It's a pleasure to be with you here at the Trade with Africa Business Summit. And I'd like to thank Toyin for inviting me to appear, even if it's through video this year. Westrock Coffee Company is comprised of Westrock Coffee Roasting in the United States, S&D Coffee and Tea in the United States, Falcon Coffees in the United Kingdom, and of course, Rwanda Trading Company in Rwanda, which was the beginning business of the entire enterprise that we started in 2009. As one of the largest employers in Rwanda today, and one of the largest, I guess, private investors in Rwanda, it has been our thrill to see that economy boom in the last 10 years or so. What we've tried to do at Rwanda Trading Company was establish an export business that paid as much as it could to the local farmer while still making enough of a profit to stay in business. And that, with a low C price, has been difficult the last few years. But we've been able to do it largely because we've invested in agronomy training programs for the farmers at the ground level. The agronomy training program, or ATP as we call it, goes through how do you manage not only your crop, but how do you manage your finances, and how do you invest in your community so the generation behind you can benefit from your labor. It's the hallmark of the business of Westrock Coffee, if you will. It's the heart and soul of why we do what we do. Everything else was to create a platform to pull volume from those kinds of supply chains up from the farmers at origin. We're now in 21 different countries around the world as an origin operator. And I guess at this point, after the purchase of S&D, we're the largest custom coffee roasting company in the United States. We have customers like Walmart and Sam's, which are always happy to be identified with us, which we appreciate, as well as our first big hotel chain was Omni Hotels. And through the S&D purchase, we now serve many, frankly, most of the largest major national restaurant chains that you've heard of, at least in some part of the country, where we're starting to provide service on a broader basis, frankly, even next year. As a long-term investor in Rwanda, and frankly, we have offices in Ethiopia and Uganda, and we have been in Tanzania in the past, I'm frequently asked, what advice would you give to political leaders in that part of the country in terms of business development? And, I think you can appreciate this. I'll decline to offer advice. I do, from time to time, get asked what I think about something, and I'm glad to offer what I think about things, but I don't have any specific advice for anyone who has already a very difficult job and doesn't need Monday morning quarterback from the cheap seats over there. I'll say this, as an investor, what we've looked for is stable tax and regulatory policy. Politicians campaign and get elected and come to power through a number of means that don't have anything to do with the business, regulatory, and tax policy. But they attract capital based on how they execute that very tax and regulatory policy. And you don't even really have to have a strong position one way or the other on what that is. Is it a progressive tax system? Is it a flat tax system? Is it a VAT tax? Is it an income tax? It's really not so important what people select. That's up to the individuals in each country. But that it is stable, that it's protected in the court of law so that everyone is equal under the law, playing under the same set of rules, and everybody knows them. Where that's true, business can flourish. Where that's not true, everyone departs. That's just the nature of it. If that's helpful, I'd say eat the fruit and spit out the seeds. One of the things that came out of the work we did in Rwanda, where we started with agronomy training, was what we now call FDV, or Farmer Direct Verified. And it really is the testament of 10 years of work by a large number of people in Rwanda, in the UK, in the United States, in Colombia, in Peru, where we pulled together on an IT platform the entire chain of custody and information that goes with that custody transition, including cost put in, the margin, and the price transferred all the way along the supply chain. So we now have, and we're thrilled with this, you can see it in some of the products that we have in Sam's Club, the Farmer Direct Verified tag on the bag. You can actually scan the QR code and see the very individual farmers whose crop makes up that bag. People, when we started this project 5 years ago, to trace every single bean all the way through to the finished retail product, people told us it couldn't be done. People told us it was impossible. The thought leaders in the industry, the coffee industry, told us it was impossible. But we knew it wasn't. If you can trace a bit all the way through a telecom network, you can trace a bean all the way through a coffee supply network. So we were thrilled this last year when Sam's Club rolled out Farmer Direct Verified on one of their core items, and people can see the entire custody link all the way back down to the farmer, including her name, and what Sam's can see is not only her name and who participated, but the quantity she brought in, the quality she brought in, and the price she was paid that day for the coffee that's in that bag. I think 5 years from now, there won't be a major brand in the world who doesn't insist on that fully traceable, IT chain traceable type of product in their offering. But we spent 10 years trying to build it, and we are thrilled. Many millions of dollars later, we are thrilled that that is now available, and the incremental cost of each transaction is relatively close to zero, which allows us to pass the value all the way back to the farmer and the transparency all the way up to the retail customer. So I'd like to thank you again for your time today. It's been a pleasure to get to introduce you to some of you introduced again, you to Westrock Coffee Company. It's always great to be part of this great trade group and the effort that's going into building trade between the U.S. and Africa. I am a huge bull on the continent of Africa, and in East Africa, where I've got a little bit more background, in particular, just because of where I've spent my time, what I see going on there and how capitalism and free market trading is really getting its roots established, I think this generation and the generation to come after it will reap the benefit of that in untold multitudes. Good luck to you all.